In 1972, only one burger chain in America had more restaurants than Burger Chef. McDonald's, 1,200 locations against 1,600, and Burger Chef was closing the gap fast. Then it vanished. Number 1 on this list was invented 6 years before the Happy Meal, and McDonald's got sued over it. Number 3, let kids do something no restaurant in America had ever allowed. And number 16 had a secret hiding on the bottom that no fast food chain has dared to copy since. These 25 meals made kids beg their parents to pull in to that orange and red building. Hit that subscribe button and let us count down the 25 forgotten Burger Chef meals America was never supposed to forget. Number 25, the 15-cent hamburger. This is where it all started. In 1957, 2 brothers in Indianapolis opened a restaurant mostly to show off a machine they had invented. The burger was almost an afterthought. But what a burger! 15 cents bought you a thin patty cooked over open flame, not on a greasy flat top, tucked into a steamed bun with ketchup, mustard, and pickle. That open flame changed everything. The fat dripped down into the fire and came back up as smoke, giving a 15-cent sandwich the flavor of a backyard cookout. Dad could feed a family of 5 for about $1, and the kids in the back seat could smell the char before the car even stopped rolling. McDonald's sold a griddle burger for the same price, but ask anyone who grew up near a Burger Chef which one tasted like summer. There was no contest. That little flame-broiled patty built an empire of more than 1,000 restaurants, and it started as a demonstration. Number 24, the French fries. Burger Chef fries came out of the fryer golden, salted hard, and packed standing upright in a paper sleeve printed in that unmistakable orange and red. They were fried the old way, in beef fat. The same way every chain did it before the 1990s changed the rules. That tallow gave the outside a shattering crispness and left the inside creamy, almost like mashed potato in a crunchy jacket. A small order cost pocket change, which meant kids with a quarter left over from mowing lawns could walk in and buy their own. The ritual mattered as much as the fries. You ate the tall ones first, you saved the crispy short ones at the bottom for last. You tipped the sleeve straight up over your open mouth to get the salty crumbs. Every kid in America did this and nobody taught them. Some rituals do not need instructions. They just need good fries. Number 23, the triple thick shakes. Here is a piece of trivia almost nobody knows. The family that founded Burger Chef also owned Sunny Serve, a company that manufactured milkshake and soft serve machines. That means Burger Chef was the only burger chain in America literally built by shake machine engineers. It showed. Their shakes came out of the spout so dense a paper straw would stand at attention in the middle of the cup. Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. Cold enough to hurt your teeth, thick enough that little kids used a spoon for the first 5 minutes. Fathers ordered coffee, kids ordered shakes, and mothers pretended not to want one, then drank half of yours. On a July night in Indiana or Ohio, with the windows down and the radio on, a Burger Chef shake was the entire point of the drive. The burgers paid the bills. The shakes made the memories. Number 22, the cheeseburger, with or without. At Burger Chef, ordering a cheeseburger came with a question no other restaurant asked: with or without? Say with, and the kitchen dressed it for you. Say without, and you got a hot plain cheeseburger, naked except for melted American cheese, and the freedom to build it yourself at the condiment station. For picky kids, this was salvation. Every parent in the 1970s knew the agony of a child peeling a burger apart at the table, wailing about pickles touching the bun. Burger Chef solved that problem with one word: without. The plain cheeseburger became the official meal of stubborn 7-year-olds across the Midwest, and it cost around a quarter for most of the chain's golden years. Simple, hot, and exactly the way you wanted it, because you were the one who made it that way. No other chain trusted children like that. Kids noticed. Number 21, the Skipper's Treat. Every Friday, especially during Lent, Catholic families across the Midwest lined up at Burger Chef for the Skipper's Treat. It was their fish sandwich, a breaded and fried fillet on a steamed bun with tartar sauce and a slice of cheese, and in fish country towns from Cincinnati to St. Louis, it was serious business. The fillet came out of the fryer crackling, the tartar sauce was tangy and cold against the hot fish, and the cheese melted into the breading in a way that made kids who swore they hated fish clean their trays. For families who could not afford a Friday fish fry at a restaurant with waiters, the Skipper's Treat was the answer. Fish for the family, burgers for the heathens, everybody home by 7. When Burger Chef disappeared, entire congregations quietly mourned that sandwich. Some of them still do. Number 20, the Mariner Platter. This was Burger Chef acting above its station and pulling it off. The Mariner Platter was a real dinner on a real tray. Pieces of fried fish, a pile of those beef tallow fries, and coleslaw served together like something from a sit-down seafood house at a fraction of the price. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, when taking a family of 6 to a proper restaurant could wreck a weekly budget, the Mariner let a factory worker give his family a Friday night fish dinner with change left over. Kids loved it because it felt fancy. It came on a platter. You needed a fork. You were not just eating a sandwich in a wrapper, you were having dinner out. And at 8 years old, that distinction meant everything. Fast food was not supposed to feel like an occasion. At Burger Chef, sometimes it did. Number 19, the Rancher Platter. If the Mariner was Friday, the Rancher was Saturday. A chopped beefsteak cooked over the open flame, served on a platter with Texas toast and a small salad. Read that again. A steak dinner at a fast food restaurant in 1970. The flame broiler gave that chopped steak real char, real crust, real dripping juices, and the thick buttered toast underneath caught everything the steak let go. For a working father, ordering the Rancher was a small act of dignity. He was not grabbing a burger. He was having a steak dinner with his family at a price that did not require a conversation with his wife first. Kids ordered it when they wanted to feel grown up, sawing away with a plastic fork like they were at a supper club. No major burger chain today would dare put a steak platter on the menu. Burger Chef did it half a century ago and made it look easy. First, pattern break. Here is the part of the story nobody tells. Burger Chef did not start as a restaurant. Frank and Donald Thomas ran General Equipment Corporation in Indianapolis, building machines for other people's restaurants. In 1954, they patented a flame broiler, a conveyor that carried burger patties over open fire. And in 1957, they opened a restaurant mostly as a showroom to sell the machine. The showroom outgrew the factory. By the mid-1960s, that broiler could turn out roughly 2,000 burgers an hour, which meant about a 20-second wait between paying for your food and holding it. 20 seconds. In 1965, modern chains with computers and heat lamps cannot reliably beat that number today. Burger Chef was not a burger company that bought equipment. It was an equipment company that accidentally built one of the biggest burger chains on earth. And that engineering mindset is exactly why everything else on this list existed. Number 18, the triple treat. Before anyone said the words combo meal, Burger Chef was already selling one. The triple treat put a burger, fries, and a shake together as a single package for one price, advertised in newspapers across the country around 1970. It sounds obvious now. It was revolutionary then. Kids could ask for one thing instead of negotiating 3 separate items, past a parent doing math in their head at the counter. Parents liked it because the price was fixed and the decision was over. Order 3 triple treats, hand over a couple of dollars, done. Every value meal, every numbered combo, every super-sized anything that came after owes something to this idea. McDonald's would not make combo meals a core part of its business until years later. Burger Chef packaged the entire modern fast food order while Richard Nixon was still in his first term, and history gave them almost no credit for it. Number 17. The Chicken Club. Late in its life, Burger Chef put a chicken sandwich on the menu that regulars still talk about. The Chicken Club was a breaded chicken fillet dressed up like a proper club sandwich with bacon, lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise. In an era when fast food chicken meant a bucket of bones from the Colonel, a chicken sandwich with bacon on it felt almost exotic. Teenagers ordered it to be different. Mothers ordered it because it felt lighter than a double burger, which was mostly a comforting lie, and a delicious one. The fillet was crisp, the bacon was real, and the whole thing ate like something from a diner menu, not a drive-in. Here is the proof of how good it was. The handful of former Burger Chef locations that survived into the modern era under new names kept selling that chicken sandwich for decades. Recipes do not survive 40 years by accident. Number 16. The apple pie with frosting on the bottom. Every chain had a fried apple pie. Only Burger Chef had this one. Their apple turnover came with cinnamon sugar dusted across the tool and hiding underneath a layer of sweet frosting glazed along the bottom crust. Kids discovered it by accident, flipping the pie over and finding a second dessert glued to the first one. The pie itself was hot enough to require caution. The filling molten apple and cinnamon, the crust blistered and crisp from the fryer. And then that frosting, cool and sweet, hit at the end of every bite like a secret handshake. No one ever explained why it was there. No other chain ever copied it. Grown adults who ate these as children have spent years trying to describe that pie to people who never had one, and the description always ends the same way. You had to be there. And then it was gone. Number 15. The Top Chef. By the mid-1970s, appetites were growing, and Burger Chef answered with the Top Chef, the biggest burger on the menu. A thick flame-broiled patty, a full third of a pound in the ads, loaded with the works on a toasted bun. This was the burger for construction workers, for high school linemen after 2-a-day practices, for the teenage boy determined to prove something at the family dinner table. Where the smaller burgers vanished in 6 bites, the Top Chef required strategy. You had to compress it. You had to rotate it. The flame char on a patty that thick was something the griddle chains simply could not manufacture. A crust of smoke and beef that made the whole car smell incredible on the ride home. Big burgers are everywhere now. In 1975, a 3-pound flame-broiled monster was an event, and kids begged for the day they were finally old enough to finish one. Number 14. The Double Cheeseburger. Somewhere between the Little Hamburger and the Big Chef lived the workhorse. 2 flame-broiled patties, 2 slices of American cheese, pickles and sauce on a steamed bun. No theatrics. This was the after-the-game meal. Little League teams in dusty uniforms packed into station wagons and descended on Burger Chef by the dozen, and the double cheeseburger was what the coach bought when the team won. The cheese welded the two patties together into a single molten unit. The smoke flavor ran all the way through. It cost less than the fancy burgers, which meant a parent could say yes to it without wincing. Ask anyone who played youth baseball in Ohio, Indiana, or Michigan in 1974 what victory tasted like. It tasted like a double cheeseburger eaten in the back of a hot car with your cap still on, and it has never tasted quite the same since. Second pattern break. Now for the tragedy. In 1968, General Foods, the corporate giant behind Jell-O and Maxwell House, bought Burger Chef from the Thomas brothers. At the time, the chain had about 600 restaurants in 39 states. General Foods poured money in, and the chain exploded to roughly 1,200 locations by 1972, second only to McDonald's. Then the corporation did what corporations do. It overexpanded into bad locations, took a massive write-off in the early 1970s, and lost its nerve. While McDonald's spent the decade relentlessly building one brand, one menu, one clown, Burger Chef's owners treated it like a line item. By 1982, General Foods sold the whole chain to the owners of Hardee's, who converted the restaurants one by one. The last Burger Chef closed in 1996. It did not die because the food failed. The food was arguably better. It died in a boardroom. Remember that as we count down the meals kids loved most. Number 13. The salad bar. This one sounds impossible, so let it sink in. In the early 1970s, Burger Chef started experimenting with salad bars inside its restaurants, roughly a decade before Wendy's made the idea famous. A fast food burger joint with a salad bar, while the competition was still arguing about apple pies. Mothers loved it because it turned a burger stop into a defensible dinner decision. Kids loved it for stranger reasons. The tongs, the little bowls, the unsupervised access to croutons and shredded cheese, which certain children treated as a meal unto itself. A kid could build a bowl that was 80% bacon bits and ranch dressing, while his mother assembled something respectable, and both of them left happy. When food writers today praise fast food chains for offering fresh options, they are praising an idea Burger Chef tested when gasoline cost 36 cents a gallon. Innovation. This early does not get remembered. It gets absorbed. Number 12. The Fun Burger. In 1972, someone at Burger Chef headquarters had an idea that would change childhood in America. Take a plain hamburger, the cheapest thing on the menu, and wrap it in packaging covered with puzzles, riddles, and jokes with a small toy included. They called it the Fun Burger. For the first time in fast food history, a restaurant made something specifically for the kid, not the parent. The burger itself was the same 15-cent style patty as always. That was never the point. The point was the box, printed with the adventures of Burger Chef and his sidekick Jeff, and the toy hiding inside. Children who could not read a menu could recognize that packaging from across the dining room. The Fun Burger was the prototype, the rough draft of an idea so powerful it would eventually be worth billions. But not to Burger Chef. Hold that thought until number 1. Number 11. The soft serve sundaes. Remember, the founders built ice cream machines for a living. Sunny Serve Soft Serve was their family business before the first burger ever hit the flame. So the dessert counter at Burger Chef was a home game. Cones of vanilla soft serve wound into a perfect spiral. Sundaes drowned in hot fudge or strawberry topping, served in little dishes with a cherry on top when the manager was feeling generous. The soft serve was colder and denser than what kids got elsewhere because the machines were maintained by people who genuinely cared about the machines. A cone cost a dime for much of the 1960s. It became the standard bribe of American parenting. Behave in the grocery store, sit still at church, stop hitting your sister, and there might be a Burger Chef cone in your future. An entire generation was successfully raised on that promise. Number 10, the collector glasses. Technically not a meal, practically the reason for the meal. Throughout the 1970s, Burger Chef ran premium promotions where a family dinner came with a free glass, and kids treated these like treasure. There were Burger Chef and Jeff character glasses. There were tie-in glasses for the 1976 King Kong remake that collectors still hunt today. The deal was diabolical in its simplicity. The set had 6 glasses. You could only get one per visit. Complete sets required 6 family dinners, and children kept inventory like accountants. Whole cabinets across the Midwest slowly filled with these glasses, and in thousands of American homes, a few survivors are still up there on the top shelf, faded but intact. A McDonald's toy lasted a week before it broke or vanished under the couch. A Burger Chef glass sat on the family table for 30 years. That is not marketing. That is furniture. Third, pattern break. Every kingdom needs its characters, and Burger Chef built a strange and wonderful one. The mascot, Burger Chef himself, was voiced in commercials by Paul Winchell, the legendary voice actor who also played Tigger for Disney. His sidekick was a red-headed kid named Jeff, and around them orbited a gang of gloriously weird friends. Burgerini, the incompetent magician. Count Fangburger, a vampire who preferred burgers to blood. Burgerilla, a talking ape. And Cackleburger, a witch. These characters lived on the fun meal packaging and in Saturday morning ad breaks, and kids knew them the way they knew cartoon characters. Here is the detail that stings. This whole universe, a chef and his young pal having adventures with a cast of goofy friends, existed years before McDonaldland fully took over children's television. Burger Chef built a world for kids. It just could not afford to keep the lights on in it. Number 9, the Double Delight deals. Burger Chef fought the burger wars with a weapon families understood instantly: the 2-for-1 style promotion. Newspaper coupons and window banners pushed deals like the Double Delight in the late 1970s, where a second sandwich came along for pennies or free. For a family of 6 in the inflation-hammered Carter years, when $1 bought less every single month, those coupons were not marketing. They were meal planning. Mothers clipped them from the Wednesday paper and filed them in the glove box. Kids learned to spot the banner from the road and lobbied accordingly, because coupon night meant everybody got their own sandwich. No splitting. Fast food deals feel disposable now, endless and forgettable. Back then, a good burger coupon changed which restaurant your family belonged to. Burger Chef understood that loyalty is not won in ad campaigns. It is won at the kitchen table, next to a pile of clipped newsprint. Number 8, the onion rings. At many Burger Chef locations, especially through the 1970s, kids faced the greatest decision in fast food: fries or rings. The onion rings came out of the same fryers as everything else: thick cut, golden, the batter puffed and crisp, the onion inside sweet and soft enough to bite through cleanly most of the time. Every child learned the hard lesson of the rogue ring, the one where the entire onion slid out on the first bite and slapped against your chin, leaving you holding an empty shell of fried batter. It was a rite of passage. Dads ordered rings and pretended they were sharing. Kids counted exactly how many were in the sleeve and enforced strict distribution laws. The smart move, the veteran move, was 1 order of fries and 1 order of rings for the table, creating the mixed handful that no menu ever offered, but every family invented independently. Number 7, fries dunked in the shake. No one at Burger Chef Corporate designed this meal. Children invented it in the back seats of Buicks and country squires from Indiana to Georgia, and it spread through elementary schools like a rumor. You took one hot, salty beef tallow fry and you plunged it straight into a triple-thick vanilla shake. Hot and cold, salt and sweet, crisp and creamy. Adults were horrified, which was, of course, most of the appeal, but the kids were right, and food science eventually admitted it. Salt suppresses bitterness and amplifies sweetness. Fat carries flavor. Temperature contrast wakes up the palate. Michelin-starred chefs now build entire desserts on the exact principles a 7-year-old in 1973 discovered with a French fry and a Dixie cup. Because those shakes were made on the founder's own Sani serve machines, and those fries were fried in real beef fat, the Burger Chef version of this ritual was, quite possibly, the best on earth. Number 6. The breakfast platter. In its final years, Burger Chef fought back the only way it knew how, by getting there first. In select markets in the late 1970s, the chain rolled out breakfast with scrambled eggs, hash browns, and toast served on real platters, plus sweet rolls and coffee for the working crowd. For kids, eating breakfast at a burger restaurant felt like a glitch in reality, like the rules of the universe had been briefly suspended. Eggs at Burger Chef before school. Dads discovered they could beat the diner crowd and still make the morning shift. The platters were cheap, hot, and fast, cooked by a kitchen already built for speed. McDonald's was busy conquering the country with the Egg McMuffin at the same time, and history handed them the whole breakfast story. But families in Burger Chef towns remember. Those quiet weekday breakfasts in a nearly empty orange dining room before the world woke up were some of the best meals the chain ever served. Number 5. The Star Wars Fun Meal. In 1977 and 1978, Burger Chef pulled off one of the great promotional coups in fast food history. While Star Wars mania consumed every child in America, Burger Chef sold fun meals served on special printed trays with punch-out toys and offered a series of Star Wars posters with drink purchases. Kids did not ask to go to Burger Chef that year. They demanded it. They negotiated. They performed chores unprompted. The trays themselves became the toy, cardboard sheets you could punch apart and fold into your own piece of the galaxy. And the posters went straight onto bedroom walls from Toledo to Tulsa. When The Empire Strikes Back arrived in 1980, Burger Chef came back with more posters, even as the chain itself was beginning to crumble. Those trays and posters now sell to collectors for many times what the meals cost. Somewhere out there, a kid who begged hardest still has his on the wall. Number 4. The Super Chef. This was the flagship for the serious appetite, and kids counted the days until they could finish one. A quarter pound of beef, flame-broiled over open fire, dressed with lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle, ketchup, and mustard on a toasted bun. If that build sounds familiar, it should. It was Burger Chef's answer to the Whopper, and people who ate both in their prime will tell you, with absolute conviction, that the Super Chef won. The char was deeper. The vegetables were colder and fresher. The whole sandwich came together like something off a backyard grill on the 4th of July. Juice ran down your wrist by the third bite, and finishing one as a 10-year-old was a family event, announced at the table like a graduation. A handful of former Burger Chef holdout restaurants still serve their version of it today under different names. People drive hours for it. That is not nostalgia. That is a verdict. Number 3. The Works Bar. Here is the one that made Burger Chef genuinely different from every restaurant in America. The Works Bar was a self-serve topping station, the first of its kind in fast food. You ordered your burger without, carried it hot and plain to the bar, and built it yourself. Ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, pickles, onions, relish, lettuce, tomatoes, all of it free, all of it yours. For a kid in 1974, this was intoxicating power. No adult approving your choices, no standard build forced on you. You wanted a burger with 11 pickles and a pile of relish that violated local ordinances? Sir, the bar is right there. Kids begged to come to Burger Chef partly for this exact moment, standing on tiptoe with a burger heel in hand, constructing a sandwich no sane kitchen would ever produce. Modern chains charge extra for customization. Burger Chef handed it to children for free, and children never forgot the feeling. Number 2. The Big Chef, the legend. Introduced in 1964, the Big Chef was 2 flame-broiled patties, melted American cheese, shredded lettuce, and a tangy special sauce built on a Miracle Whip-style base, stacked on a 3-piece bun, crown, club, and heel. Study that description and check the calendar. The Big Mac did not go national until 1968. Burger Chef was serving a double-decker sauce burger on a club bun 4 years before McDonald's made the format famous. The Big Chef was smoky, where the Big Mac was flat, the sauce sharper and tangier, the whole sandwich carrying that open flame flavor no griddle could fake. Devotion to this burger outlived the chain itself. Hardee's brought the Big Chef back by popular demand in 2001, again in 2007, and again in 2014, decades after the last Burger Chef closed. Fans lined up every time. Almost nothing in fast food history has been resurrected 3 times. This burger was. Number 1. The Fun Meal. In 1973, Burger Chef created the first true kids meal in fast food history. A burger, fries, a drink, and a dessert treat served with a toy on packaging printed with games, riddles, and stories about Burger Chef, Jeff, Burgerini, Count Fangburger, and the rest of the gang. Everything a child wanted in one box for one price. It was a masterpiece, and every kid in America knew it. 6 years later, in 1979, McDonald's launched the Happy Meal. Burger Chef sued for millions, arguing the idea was stolen outright. They lost, and the company that lost that fight faded away, while the Happy Meal went on to become one of the most profitable ideas in the history of food, selling by the billions, decade after decade, to children who have never once heard the words Burger Chef. Every Happy Meal ever sold carries a ghost inside it. Now you know its name. Here is my challenge. Ask someone over 60 about Burger Chef this week. Just say the words Big Chef or Works Bar and watch their face. Then come back and tell me what they remembered, because I promise you they will remember. Drop your Burger Chef memory in the comments and tell me which one you would resurrect first, the Big Chef or the Fun Meal. I want to know if anyone still owns one of those glasses, because this was not just a restaurant. It was the future of fast food, invented first and forgotten on purpose.